Hello my loves, and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, I normally have videos all about what it means to live an aligning, fulfilling, and present life. This is still along those lines, but it just looks a little bit different than a yoga flow or a meditation or a talk video. I'm bringing you along with us for our 2-week trip to Italy. We spent the first week in Sicily and then the second week exploring the mainland Italy. We went there for a wedding. Stephen was in one of his good friends' wedding there in Taormina, Sicily. So this is a vlog of us getting to that destination, which it does take a few flights to get there. Plus we were using credit card points, so it made the trip a little bit more luxurious, as you can see from the meals we're eating and the lounges we're sitting in and the lie flat seats we have from Montreal to Zurich. Those were a game changer. And I just want to say, like, we're not fancy people, we're not bougie people, we are normal people over here. We just take advantage of credit cards and especially travel credit card points. I'm not the expert on that. My husband is. I'm trying to get him to start a credit card consulting business because he gets a lot of questions. So let me know in the comments if you have any questions about that, and I will have Stephen respond. So here are a few clips on our 4 flights from St. Louis, Missouri to Catania, Sicily, and it was a very long day, over 24 hours of travel, but so worth it. We were spoiled, especially in our cross-Atlantic flight, experiencing the lie flats. You can see the little things I was amused by, like this tiny thing of balsamic and olive oil, and my seat actually lied all the way flat, hence why it's called a lie flat. I'm very easily amused over here. It doesn't take much to impress me, so this whole flight I was just in awe and so grateful. I want everyone to experience this, and you can. You just have to be intentional and a little bit strategic with your credit cards. It just takes a little bit or a lot of research depending on how deep you want to go. But even if you just get one credit card, you can get lounge access. It's a whole thing. I could talk about it the whole time, but I'm not going to. Leave any questions you have below, or just start doing your own research. There's so many resources on YouTube. Now, if you're familiar with me and my family, you may be wondering where my 2-year-old, or almost 2-year-old son is. He stayed home with his grandparents. We were very fortunate enough to have that possibility. He spent half the time with my parents and half the time with Stephen's parents, and we missed him so much. Thank the universe for FaceTime. But also, it was nice to enjoy some solo travel again, because that was such a big part of Stephen and I's identity before we had kids. So it was really fun to do that. I do want to say we had a short layover in Zurich, Switzerland. And I don't know what it was about this place, but my soul was feeling so called to come back here. So putting it on my bucket list, I need to come back to Switzerland. You can kind of see the Swiss Alps in this beautiful clip from overhead. There were a lot of clouds, but if you look really hard, you can see them. And man, are they beautiful. Then we had a short flight from Zurich to Rome, where we had a few-hour layover. I didn't get any footage, but we went to a ton of lounges there. They had 3, I think, that we were able to go to, so we just kind of lounge hop, which seriously makes such a big difference. You don't have to spend any money, and you get really good, kind of like home-cooked meals, as much espresso as you want, which could be a good thing or a bad thing. If you're tired, you could definitely over-caffeinate there, but it's such a game changer. We had 1 flight left from Rome to Catania, and man, that was a struggle. That was a grind, that last leg of our trip. Once we got there, we had to figure out the Sicily bus system, which was a little scary just because we didn't speak the language and it was a little unclear where the bus was heading, and we wanted to catch the right one. We finally made it to Taormina, but then we had to take the cart down from the upper part of the city to where Airbnb was. And this is a very common sight for tourists in Italy, you dragging your luggage up and down cobblestone hills. And that was us once we got to Sicily. So you can't really like see the hill here. The camera doesn't capture it, but it was quite a steep incline, and we had to walk that many times in our heels for the wedding. But it's all part of the adventure, all part of the story to tell later, and I'm glad I got this little clip on camera. This will go down as one of my favorite memories in Sicily. We were so tired, so hungry, and this was our first like true Italian meal. And I just remember like fangirling over the cheese. It was buffalo mozzarella, if I remember correctly, which I need to do more research if it actually comes from a buffalo. But man, it is so good. The cheese here is next level. So the next thing I started freaking out about was the fact that our window in our Airbnb perfectly framed the full moon. The full moon would rise out of the ocean each evening that we were there, and every night we could see it from our bed, laying in our bed. And then after that, it started thunderstorming. Like, I can't make this stuff up. It was getting better and better and better, even though I was exhausted. I was high vibing it at this point and fell asleep very, very happy. This is the view from the outside of our Airbnb. It was such a cute and quaint and perfect Airbnb for this trip, or at least for this part of the trip. As I mentioned before, the town of Taormina seems to be divided into two parts, or at least from a tourist perspective. You have the part that's down by the ocean. We are right by the Isola Bella, which you could go walk out to and see. And then there was the upper part of the city that you could take the tram to, or the cart. It has a formal name, gondola maybe, or you can walk up the steps like we did on the first day. So that first day we really just explored the city. We walked up the steps, so we got the true Taormina experience. But the views were so worth it, and it was such a beautiful day. We really lucked out with weather, so if you are planning a trip, it seems like May could give you really good weather. We were there at the end of May, beginning of June, and we had 70-degree weather. I think it got in the 80s once the whole time. So do your research, but man, look at these views. It almost doesn't look real. Okay, this is another one of my favorite memories from the trip. I mean, I have so many, but this one just really sticks out to me. We stopped at a cafe about halfway up the steps, and I got a cafe freddo, which is an iced coffee, and it was so good. Beautiful views. They were playing house music. I truly felt like I had stepped into one of those travel videos I watch all the time where it's house music set to like beautiful travel scenery. Like, I felt like I was living that in real life. It was just such a surreal moment for me. After walking around an adorable little garden in the center of the city, we then continued to walk around the town. We actually met up with our friends that were also there for the wedding, and you can see it just keeps getting cuter and cuter. At this point, I was still in awe and shock and just soaking it all in. The adorable streets with the cute shops, this cute piazza. I mean, am I saying cute enough? But this piazza overlooking the Mediterranean Sea, and all these cute churches that we pop in and out of. It was such a fun day just getting acquainted to and exploring Taormina, Sicily. Highly recommend coming to this city. It can be a trek to get to, but once you're there, it is totally worth it. Anytime we passed through these charming narrow pathways, I had to take out my camera. I just thought they were so cute and so Italy. We were actually on the hunt for an Aperol Spritz, which really isn't that hard to hunt for. They are everywhere because they are the perfect fruity European summer drink. So I get why they're everywhere. They're actually an orange liqueur, I believe, with Prosecco and soda water. If you've never had one before, they are delicious. And we continue to walk around. More cute piazzas, more cute churches, and some of the best gelato I had on the trip. Maybe it was because it was my first one there, I don't know, but it was so good, especially as I was walking back down the steps. Then we went home, got ready, got all dressed up, and then continued to walk back up our little driveway here. Me in my heels, Steven dressed up in his formal attire, and we went to the rehearsal dinner. I wish I'd gotten more clips from the rehearsal dinner because it's actually overlooking the piazza I just showed you. There was a beautiful old church in the background, and it was just picturesque. Another one of those surreal moments where I'm like, pinch me, is this really happening? So thank you to Joe and Marissa for throwing such beautiful parties for us to come to each night that we were there. Afterwards, we got drinks again at like kind of a Italian nightclub. I didn't last that long. And then of course, I had to get more video shots of the full moon rising out of the ocean because it was gorgeous. Let me speak for myself when I say that I was glad the second day was a little bit slower. We just went to the beach and hung out. Maybe one too many Aperol Spritzes the night before. Who knows? I'm not the girl I used to be, that's for sure. We finally got ready and headed to a quick dinner before the welcome party. The dinner was delicious. The ambiance was on point. They even gave us a free dessert wine before we left, which I thought was so nice. Then as we were walking to dinner, we noticed someone singing Dancing Queen on the main piazza, and that's just a really special song to my family, especially my dad's side, which that side of the family is from Italy, so just felt like a little sign from my ancestors. Here's a picture of the beautiful couple that is getting married this weekend, and a picture of Steven and I, but man, do they know how to throw a welcome party. Look at the views of this place. I kept saying I felt like I was at a celebrity magazine party or something, like something I would see on TV. 360 views of Taormina. You can see Mount Etna, the volcano on the island from the view. I mean, it just was breathtaking. I couldn't stop taking videos, and it was just such a magical moment. This trip is full of them. So shout out to Marissa and Joe. Thank you for throwing such amazing parties before your magical wedding. As you can see from the few clips that I got from the wedding, it was so incredible and magical and beautiful. I told Marissa the next day that it's probably the nicest wedding I will ever go to. I'm so happy for her and Joe. Thank you so much for including Steven and I on your big day, and cheers to a beautiful, happy, incredible, magical life together. for our last day in Taormina, after hanging out on the beach and relaxing there with all the people from the wedding, we then just went up to the city and just really tried to take in the energy and the ambiance of Taormina. That's one of my favorite things to do while traveling, especially in these cute Italian towns, just sitting in the piazza, watching all the people walk around, wondering where they're going. And one of my favorite things about travel is it just really opens your mind to all the possibilities and all the different ways that people live. So we ended the night by staring at the moon, of course, and a delicious dinner, as you saw. The next day, we continued our luck with the Sicily bus system. We were so nervous we were going to miss our bus, but we didn't. We caught it just in time and got to our flight to Rome just in time. So if you like this video, please make sure you like it on YouTube and subscribe so you don't miss part 2 and 3 as we head to the mainland and explore Rome, Florence, and Venice. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.